Welcome to another week of the Red Side Review, where the passion is red, the opinions are loud, and football never sleeps. The magic of the FA Cup, unfortunately, there was just no magic, and it was just a straight victory for Arsenal and knocking out Wigan. 4-0 victory at the Emirates, a straightforward win. We're going to look at some standout performances from the likes of Nørgaard and Eberici Eze. As with a few others, we're going to take a deeper dive into Arsenal's injuries, formations, and the upcoming fixtures away at Wolves, and on Sunday, the North London derby, which is Spurs. So we saw something different from Arteta in terms of he tried a new formation. Arsenal, with the ball, they actually played a three at the back. And in terms of most of the time, they actually played a three at the back, which you had Mosquera, Saliba and Ben White. That were the three at the back, and just playing in front of those was Skelly and Nørgaard, and Arsenal played with a double 10, which Arsenal don't normally play with. Saka and Eze in the middle, and you also had on the wings, you had Noni and you had Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus up front. Now, such an interesting formation, and it did work, but we have to take it with a pinch of salt because it is up against the League One side. Now, the free-flowing football that we did see, it did look amazing because we saw a lot of rotations between players, and it looked seamless in that aspect because you had sometimes Noni and Saka switching, Noni coming on the inside. I think that's how one of the goals happened. You also had Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus switching. All of those players feel comfortable in those two positions, and a lot of the goals came about with the switches. I think one of the things, as I said, we need to look at and take it with a pinch of salt is the fact that it is against Wigan. Now, I know players were missing, players were on the bench, players were rested, but another solid performance from Nørgaard, and he always displays minimum 7 to 8 out of 10. Every time he's called in, such a professional. I've got nothing but high respect for him because he doesn't get the minutes, and I feel that he warrants. I feel he has earned himself to get more minutes, but hopefully, and that's what some of this topic is about, is we'll get to see Nørgaard during the week, probably against Wolves, where I do believe you could play a Nørgaard in the centre of the park. Some of Nørgaard's passing, the range of passing is exceptional. We don't really see that from our other sixes who actually play in that role, whether it be Declan Rice or Zubimendi. They do have a pass in them. I'm not discrediting what they do, but Nørgaard brings something different, and you could see that it's a final pass from deep that almost eliminates 3 players. He asked the questions that I've been asking in these episodes. Can you find it into tight areas? And he did a lot of the time to Eze and Saka, who like playing in those tight areas, who like drawing players in and allowing their wingers to run off of them. And something that Ben White, I think, brings to Arsenal, which is overlooked since the signing of Timber, is the unpredictability. He can go on the inside, he can go on the outside. His final delivery is very good. He's always looking to be involved in the build-up. So that is another person I would explore using against Wolves. He did come off with a bit of muscle tightness, but Arteta has just confirmed that he will be fit, and it was just a bit of fatigue. This could be the formation, who knows, to unlock a lot of low blocks on an overload in terms of the 2 number 10s and the wingers, and then you have the striker sitting in the middle. You're protected by 2 deep line players in the midfield from Miles Lewis Skelly and Nørgaard, who can also pick a pass. I think in certain games that needs to be experimented. I would love to see Nørgaard play with Declan Rice. I would like to see play more. I think Nørgaard has earned his right to at least play a bit more time in the EPL. Not obviously ahead of Zubimendi, because Zubimendi is putting incredible work in now terms of the 8 role, and Declan Rice sitting as a 6. But, you know, lots of dilemmas all over the pitch to have. It was a good game to watch, a solid performance. It was a straightforward routine victory, and I think Arsenal in the 5th round of the FA Cup, we go away to Mansfield Town, which will be a good game. And, you know, it is always interesting going to those kind of pitches. In terms of Mansfield, they've got a capacity of 10,000 or just over 10,000. So they'll be looking for the magic in the FA Cup. And so looking ahead now to the EPL, Wolves, who we have Wednesday, away from home, should be a good game. Wolves, I wouldn't say they're fighting for a battle in the relegation, but they would want to put a good account of themselves, as anyone would do. When you hear the league leaders are in town, it's almost like a mini cup final, as I like saying. What I'd like to see is a couple more of those players, some inter-switches, and players be given a rest. I think the one thing about Calafiori, and I spoke about it in one of my previous episodes, is he's such an outstanding defender. He's an outlier. He's not like the other defenders where, you know, he can defend, but he's also got an eye for goal. He can go forward, but in a different way. He can play with the ball at his feet, and he's really made that left back position his own. I would love to see him get a run of games and just be healthy. Havertz, as I said in the previous episode, won't be back for these matches, but I do believe Arsenal can get the job done without him. A special shout out to Eberici Eze. Reminds me of a child playing in the playground when he's at his best. Free-flowing football, one-touch passing and connecting play. Such an amazing player, a maverick in his own right, and, you know, a Haaland boy that wants to put his name in history for the Arsenal. And you can see that passion. He played with a smile on his face, and he loved his time out there. And hopefully this is what reignites his fight, his hunger to, you know, gain his position in the Arsenal squad. Talking about Nørgaard, he's currently still out injured and he won't feature in the Wolves match. Arsenal do have the capabilities to get through Wednesday's match at Wolves, and then push on and then look to Sunday, which is the big one. Spurs, not in the greatest of forms, but we all know a London derby can bring out the best in players. We saw Eberici Eze at the Emirates take that game by the scruff of his neck, and has that just come at the right time for Eze to go and put on another display and claim 6 points from our closest rivals, Spurs.